Are you ready? Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I just got disturbed by the news that Mamelodi Sundowns might be looking into buying Otseho Mabasa. Yeah, I think Orlando Pirates should stop this thing of selling their best players to Sundowns. You know, if you want to compete against the best, then you need the best in your team. We can't keep selling our players to Sundowns.
I am not happy, man. It's sad what is happening at Kaizer Chiefs, that the management is very, very quiet. They are not addressing the supporters. Even on social media, Rob, to say, we know the pain that you are going through, and this is where we are searching for the coach, stuff like that. But it's quiet there by Kaizer Chiefs,
Grateful for the opportunity presented by God to achieve records and break records, but at the same time, I think maybe it's that 24-hour rule that doesn't allow me to sit too much on some of the good things, but...
There's a chance here early on for Sundowns! Oh, what a start! Disaster here for Skukune United. They are falling apart here. Sundowns.
Yes, MSW Robert Marawa Moreno. They are made of steel. They are playing absolutely too much football.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
You know what? There's been a conversation that's been happening around who you think is going to be the footballer of the season when it comes to the local game. And guess what? The coach of Sundowns has already taken his pick.
I think there's been an unorthodox front runner, and that's Ronan Williams. And it's unorthodox because we normally don't consider goalkeepers to receive such awards. Normally, and I'm talking by football culture worldwide. Goalkeepers do not really, and I think that's why they then started also creating individual awards like the Golden Glove Award for the goalkeeper, because really, honestly, it's an award that very seldom goes to the goalkeeper. But when I look at Ronan's contribution this season to Sundowns, not just only on goalkeeping, but also on infield play, in possession, in the way he tries to do the things. I think he's been head and shoulders, and from a level of consistency, he's been head and shoulders above the rest.
Head and shoulders. He's going to walk away with that wonderful award, prestigious award, come end of the season. I just thought I'd throw that in. It can keep you occupied debate-wise wherever you are. You can argue, you can share your thoughts, you can send me your WhatsApp voice notes about it, but that's what the coach of Sundowns thinks. And remember, I had said it earlier. I said you can win the player of the season being a goalkeeper, then you can go on and win the Golden Glove. You can go on and win the player's player of the season, whatever it is. But it is that time of the season when those awards, those individual awards start being considered all round. So yeah, that's how we throw it in though, but it's going to be a different kind of show, one that you've been waiting for quite a while. Do join us on the YouTube channel. We are streaming live wherever you are around the country, the continent, or the world. Match officials recently coming under fire, though, for making questionable decisions during the matches, both here at home and also abroad. Now, the refereeing standards have become a hot topic of discussion. Some criticism being quite valid, while others pretty much unfounded. And that's all because we are extremely passionate and love this beautiful game, and hence the division. Now, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding decisions made by the referees, coaches and fans expressing their dissatisfaction. Now, you go back to a recent game between Mamelodi Sundowns as well as Morocco Swallows. A lot of drama surrounding Kabadinho Mango's late goal, initially thought to be in an offside position. There's been a whole host of other incidents. Now, the game is constantly evolving as well. Let's not lose sight of that, not just tactically and technically, but also in terms of officiating. And with new rules and controversies arising all the time, it's also quite crucial to catch up with the experienced individuals in the game. And we are very, very proud of our one and only Victor Gomes to discuss the latest developments, though, in refereeing. He is currently the SAFA Referees Committee chairperson and also the VP of CAF Referees Committee. And he's back in the country. I think he's a bit jet lagged, but he's fine. He's okay. He's here in studio. Bub, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rob. A very good evening, and it's always a pleasure and honor to be here in your studio and with your listeners.
Oh, man, I don't even know where to begin, though. PGMO, we can start Gabadinho Mango, Swallows. I want to start there. Let's get that out of the way so that whoever's listening can send comments and questions, etc. It was up in the social media platforms. People watched it live. The referee in question, Jelly Chibani, was under a lot of pressure to make a decision. He made a call. Rulani Mkwena was saying, who was he talking to, etc., etc. So a lot of things bounced back and forth. The committee has sat down, the review committee. They've come up with a decision. Are you able to share with us what has happened?
Yeah, sure, Rob. I think just to remain professional, I don't really like to go straight into the decisions made because we're still in the current season and stuff. But what I can tell you is that the review committee has sat down on that specific decision and deemed that the referee was correct on the night. But I think we need to just go a little bit further than a decision incorrect and correct. I think we're failing to understand what this whole scenario is all about. We are all football lovers, and we have a duty to A, report correctly on football, and B, we also need to understand the laws of the game, because the laws of the game have become quite intriguing nowadays. And we feel, as refereeing, from a refereeing point of view, that is most of the biggest problems. I mean, we are very proud that SAFA are now hosting coaching courses, and that the laws of the game are being discussed in these coaching courses, because the biggest problem is the understanding of the laws of the game and the complexity of them. I mean, I just came back from Miami now, and we did a referee seminar for prospecting candidates of CONCACAF and CONMEBOL, and we discussed these type of laws in depth. And I promise you, it is really in depth. And I think this is where we need to mend the bridge. What I can say, I am very proud of our commentators, our match commentators. We've seen a big, and I really want to commend our match commentators, where we've seen a big improvement in the terminology used, the understanding that's being used. And I'm really sorry to say this, Rob. Unfortunately, some of our journalists are not reporting correctly. And it really causes a problem, and the biasness. So then what it does is the general public and the petrol attendant who puts petrol in my car gets confused. And I think we need to take a step back and start saying, right, this is a complicated decision. How can we get it correct? I've always said to you, Rob, we are not here to defend referees.
Yeah.
We are here to defend football. And when we err, we would try to improve so that we can improve. Because at the end of the day, if the refereeing improves, the football improves. If the football improves, the refereeing improves. When you say the standard of refereeing, I say the standard of refereeing is equal to the standard of football. So that's what we believe, and that's our philosophy.
So do you believe, though, that a lot of it has become emotional? So when a team gets onto the other side of a bad call, then people say that the referee's decisions are terrible. I mean, I was quite shocked. Pep Guardiola says that he's quite happy. You know, Nottingham Forest have been up in arms. They say they're demanding the audio of their game because they felt that 3 penalties that should have gone their way didn't go their way, and they're demanding the audio. So they will have a private listening of that audio to it. But then you get a guy like Pep, who we've seen time to time arguing with the referees, the fourth official, etc. But he says he's quite happy. What do you think leads to that? Is it more the emotive side versus the factual side?
I think you could be hitting the nail on the head, Rob. It's mostly the understanding. But I mean, we sit and we watch football in and out, and sometimes we watch a team possibly lose, and we see the goalkeeper fumbles, a goal gets scored, and you still want to blame the referee. How is that possible? Rob, you've been in football longer than what I've been around. But I can tell you, I'm sure you have not seen how the coaches now make a post-match interview all about a referee.
Yes.
Where was the last time where we heard a coach stand up and say, you know what, I'm taking responsibility for my players today? You know, I always believe that a player going towards goal needs to score. If he doesn't score, he's made an error. And we are expecting And we are painting this picture that referees are to be 100% correct all the time. I mean, really, I think we're setting the stage up for the wrong show.
You say something quite important, though, because I remember, again, I mean, I use Rolani because he's been quite vocal, and just yesterday he was talking about Onyango being booed by the Sundowns fans. And then he said that he dares anybody in their professional space to look back, to reflect, and say, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, if you're a politician, if in your day-to-day jobs you don't make a mistake, like Onyango made a mistake, it is impossible. So again, it raises and says, okay, so a coach says that, which means then the same can be said about a referee as well. So if people thought that Jelly was wrong in that decision, you've just come out publicly now and said, the committee said he was 100% correct. So how then do we move it forward? And well done to all of those commentators that do make the effort. And I heard, even on that incident, how back and forth it was, how divided it was. I mean, I got in touch with a couple of retired referees to get an opinion from them. And they said pretty much, if I had 5, it was 3 to the one side, 2 to the other side. So divided. How do we improve on that?
Yeah, you see, this is what makes football the beautiful game. And this is what makes us so passionate about us. What I'm saying is, let us just be knowledgeable of and take cognizance of the laws. The laws of the game change every year, and there's always some modifications. And again, there are many times, even when I was a referee, people would contact me and say, take me through this law and explain to me. And we as referees, and we try in the refereeing industry, try. I also think that some people with the platforms use their platforms for the wrong reasons. Rob, if you're not in football for 6 months now, you are behind. Really, the laws are so intense that you are behind.
But why are they changing so fast? What is happening in the beautiful game of football that we have all of these changes back to back?
I think the game has become so fast. It's become so dynamic. And this is what the game wants. It's what we talk about, what football expects, what football wants. We're now looking at a reduction from the 1st of June, it is, I think, of a reduction in a yellow card from a handball that is not punishable. We now talk about, for example, we would talk about supporting arm. A supporting arm, now we don't discuss supporting arm anymore.
Yeah.
And this is now where we're seeing the pundits using these words, and we now realize that they are outdated, or possibly people, I'd like to call them people who have crossed the fence. They have that platform now, and they're now saying, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that. They've never even sat in a VAR, for example, VAR course, or they don't understand the principles of VAR, but it's just these glamorous words that are being thrown around. And this is where I think, so we need to create a better education platform so that people can understand, oh, this is the reason why.
But where are those platforms? Where are they available? Because I'm gonna chat to you further, after the break and so on, just about the modifications, the changes that have been made in recent time. But how does an ordinary person who loves football, who has an opinion, probably goes to social media, takes up all of these debates, where can they go to, Vic, so that they can get the knowledge, understand, and then transfer it to the people that don't?
So, excellent question, and I congratulate the IFAB and the team there at IFAB. If you go on to the website www.ifab, I think it's .com if I correctly, just Google IFAB, you will see that they are the custodians of the laws of the game, and they write them up, and they've got some elementary examples of the laws, and then you can go into the more detailed stuff, and they show you every year the changes that is made and stuff. And I think I still believe that I would like to see teams sitting down with maybe, for example, 2 referees in a province going to a team in Cape Town and sitting and doing a little laws of the game every season, pre-season. That's
like
what
a master class of some sort.
That's it. And just refreshing all the time and showing clips. We have clips that we can show. Guys, if you do this, it's a yellow. If you don't do this, and explain the reasons.
But do the local clubs do that? Sorry to cut in. I remember back in those days, El Professori Sylvester Ndaba would say that he would be asked by some of the clubs who would approach him and say, please, we are in pre-season, and as part of pre-season, we have factored in the laws of the game. Come and educate us. And he would say, absolutely. And he will take that time. He would go there. Does that still happen? Is that lacking?
Yes, Rob. When I became the chairman, it was one of the first things we did with the department. And they wrote to I won't say they wrote directly to the teams, but that service or that option was available. And I think it wasn't taken up by many teams.
I go back again. It's because it's recent and it was talked about. You talk about terminology. So some individuals, including pundits, they'll go and use words like back pass. But you would say that a back pass has got absolutely nothing to do with an offside.
Yes, it does, Rob, because if a defender deliberately passes the ball back, there cannot be an offside, aka what happened just the other day.
This one, yeah.
So, but now the interpretation is, did the defender deliberately play the ball? Did he have a chance to control the ball after playing it? And these are circumstances and considerations that we as referees use. And if you open the laws of the game, you go to offside law 11, and you will see those considerations are there. And I encourage all my colleagues, referees, etc., anyone who asks them anything related to the laws of the game or related to a clip, to always take a screenshot of the laws and post it with. You know, you and I have many discussions.
100%.
And every time I chat with you, I always refer to the laws of the game and I show you the screenshot of this is what it says in the law and I try and explain it. And I think if we start going more towards that way, I think we will improve our brand. Because, Rob, at the end of the day, football does not belong to any individual.
Yeah.
It belongs to all of us. It belongs to referees. It belongs to players. It belongs to coaches. I mean, there's a lot at stake here. This is a business. And it's all of us. It's our duty to ensure that we uphold this big brand that we serve.
Big brand that we're serving. Also big questions, big comments that you want to make. Please, Victor Gomes, my guest.
Hashtag MSW live on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. Hashtag MSW.
It has a rock. Shiny.
Please pass me a drumstick.
Come on, baby, focus. A girl's best friend.
A diamond?
Yes, on a round metal. Time!
A ring? He's asking you to marry him.
Create big moments with the fam when you grab the new KFC Family Fiesta. Dig into 6 pieces of original recipe chicken, 4 zinger wings, 2 regular mash and gravies, and large chips for only $149.90. KFC, it's finger-licking good. Delivery fees are not included. T's and C's apply.
Want to win a car with Spar? Swipe your Spar Rewards card when you buy any participating product and stand to win one of 50 fiery red Hyundai Grand i10 sedans. Competition ends 2 June. Get Spar 1 litre low-fat, fat-free or full-cream long-life milk 6-pack for just $94.99 or 900-gram Bacomo wheat mix for only $46.99. Price is valid from 23 April to 7 May. T's and C's apply.
Nazo. And that's why we shop at Spar.
What's a Thursday without Lotto Star's real jackpot race? We are bringing you the hottest slots in a thrilling race where a share of 500,000 Rand could be yours. The jackpot is guaranteed to hit. Join the race every Thursday evening from 7 to 9 p.m. You could be one of 500 lucky winners. Lotto Star, your world of live games. Lotto Star is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No under 18. NRGP 0800 006 008. T's and C's apply. All games are fixed odds betting events.
Here's to the next 30 years of honoring great deals with Vodacom. Get the new Honor Magic V2 5G on a 2.6 gig Red Core plan for only 1,499 Rand per month over 36 months. And get a free in-store accessory spend worth 1,000 Rand. Plus, enhance with Smart Tech. Add the Honor Watch for Bluetooth for just 79 Rand per month over 36 months. Here's to the next 30 years of connection. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
Tommy, have you heard about CTM's quality bathroom sale? It's affordable style for everyone.
Oh, really? My bathroom needs a makeover. What's on sale at CTM?
Beautiful porcelain tiles, luxury baths, stylish cabinets, and up to 10-year guarantees on bathroom wear. And exclusive ranges from Tivoli and Kilimanjaro.
Oh, I have to see these deals myself.
Do not miss out. Discover your inspiration in-store or online today.
CTM's quality bathroom sale is now on until the 2nd of June. CTM, big savings, more style.
From Grand Slammers to world record breakers, everybody loves a sporting hero. Now you can train like one too with Technogym, the world's leading supplier of fitness equipment and official equipment partner to the Olympic Games. Made in Italy, we bring our professional AI-enhanced training content and equipment to your home, giving you your own personalized training journey. Hit technogym.com now to start your Technogym precision training experience. Use promo code Technogym to access additional value.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Our speedster that he is, Tapelo Morena, is here. I think your wife and kids are here with you. They said, you know what, we have to hold you by the hand because we hardly ever see you. I have to thank them, on your behalf.
On Sunday, they went to the park. I was not there.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm trying to give them great memories. Not only saying pointing me on TV, but saying literally my father was around. My first one, Lesedi Morena. My second one, Goresa Morena, and my younger one, Tapelo Morena.
You left out the main person.
And my wife, Carol Tabele Morena.
Thank you so much, family.
#MSW. #MSW.
Interesting what's been happening as far as your votes, Ronan Williams or not.
Hi, Rob. This is Chomnyati from Edenville. Rob, for the first time, I agree with the Rolando Mkwena on the soccer star of the year. If it doesn't go to Ronwen, then I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but he deserves it. He deserves it. Ronwen and Maswangai, between the two, I'll be happy to see one of them getting it, Rob. Thanks,
Right.
Rob.
Thank you very much indeed. Agreeing with Rulani for the first time, he says.
Hey, Robert Murawa, greet you with a good heart. Thanks for the show. MSW. Robert Rowan Williams, he made history. Nee. You know, for Bafana, he rewrote the history. He was magic. He was beyond comprehension for Bafana. And as you said, if he does not win it, then something is wrong. MSW, but now what's going on in Formula One now? I just heard some senior guy of Red Bull resigned because of this thing of Horner. Yes, they just don't want to leave him alone here. Thanks for the show. Mooi bly, Ben Richter.
Adrian Newey is his name, yeah? Just resigned now. You're up to date. Thank you so much. Mooi bly. Right, talking all things refereeing, we'll still continue with your thoughts about the football of the season. I think it is just as divided as what refereeing is. Firstly, let me just go to a caller. Simpiu has been on the line. Thank you so much for your patience. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Samara. It's Simpiu X here from Tembisa. Good evening to Victor Gomes as well.
Yeah, he's here. Go ahead.
Question for Victor. When are we going to get to a situation where we as viewers can actually be privy to the communications that officials are having in the pitch? Because we don't get to hear whatever they're talking about, so we only get to speculate. When are we going to have such implementation in South African football?
All right, Simpiu, thank you so much. I'll ask you to listen on the radio. When are we going to get that? I can't say in South African football because we don't have VAR, but just in terms of international football.
All right, so if I can just come along with this goes hand in hand with VAR. You would have seen at the last Club World Cup, there was already announcements, and even at the Women's World Cup. So that will come hand in hand with VAR.
My criticism of that was it was just an announcement. So they would have a conversation and then say, okay, penalties awarded. But I think what people are looking for is a more in-depth. You watch rugby, and rugby, TMO says, no, this and this, look out for this. I'll play it for you on the big screen. I'll have a look at the big screen. Okay, look out for this. I'm spotting this. So it's a conversation that the world can hear. And it's not like a little secret thing and then a decision is made and then a gesture is then given and an outcome made. I think what Simpiwe is alluding to is, would we ever be privy to the back and forth? Stokely Park is there. They're going to make the big decisions. That's where VAR sits for the Premier League. Is that going to be a possibility? Is it a consideration?
Rob, I think I must answer that question as with an opinion because it's not fact.
Yeah.
I think the laws of the game and our leaders have been going towards more of what football wants. And I do believe that possibly in the future we could see something along that way because more and more it's what football is asking for. So, yeah, this remains within, as I say, a protocol. But in my personal opinion, I think in the future we could see a day where that does happen.
I think it should, because otherwise a Nottingham Forest would not be asking for that, because they know that conversation, that communication does exist. It gets stored somewhere. It gets used outside of the public domain. Why not? I mean, if it's a transparent game, Vic, I don't know if you're pro or against it. Again, your opinion does help. If Forest knows that it's there, surely we all would love to hear it.
So I just want to backtrack there. On the issue of the voice recordings, there is some protocols where you can go back and listen to it. But the question I was understanding is live, will the spectators, So according to my opinion, I think maybe in the future we could look at something like that, or not, it could come to us. But the current standing as it is right now, that it is all recorded, and even in the VAR room there's a camera, everything is recorded. So there are some protocols to request that type of footage and audio.
I'll go back to the last conversation that we had on the show. I know you gave a projection, but also it might have been a wish to say that by the time the Nedbank Cup final happens in South Africa, you would love to have VAR then. Nedbank Cup final is around the corner. Are we anywhere closer to South Africa having VAR?
I know you've been itching the whole night to ask me this one, Rob?
Here's the moment.
From our side, we have done everything to approve VAR. The VAR project in South Africa is now sitting in the office of the CEO. We are waiting for approval and for finance. I can tell you that we do have referees that are fully licensed for VAR. And my dream, my wish, as you were saying, it's still there. But at the end of the day, we have to wait for the stakeholders to rule on that.
So the CEO of what, SAFA, the PSL?
Yes, it's currently with the office of the CEO at SAFA.
At SAFA?
Yeah.
Do they give an indication of what is the stumbling block? What's the delay? How soon they can fast track this? Because like you rightfully say, I've seen our very own, whether it's male or female, referees, they are heavy in terms of VAR right now. What is the delay?
Rob, I know that there's a meeting coming up very soon within the next 2 weeks, and I know that this matter will be discussed. So, it's a joint liaison that needs to go from the league also to the association. So it's not only from SAFA, it's also from the league. At the end of the day, I think we need to understand that these are additional services that referees will now provide to a league, and there's other additional costs. So these are things that need to be factored in. And, I always say that we are the ground workers and we operate and we take the lead from the top.
But are we ready as a country?
No, obviously we're not ready because we need to train referees. We need to train technicians, operators. We need to do tests. And as I said previously, it's like a certain amount of hours, like a pilot license. There's some hours that need to be obtained before we do it. But Rob, I also just want to clear something. I've heard the notion of VAR light.
Yeah.
Just for the general public, VAR light was introduced for countries who have limited cameras, 1-2 cameras at a game. You know that there are some countries that only offer a 1-camera view for a game. And VAR light was introduced to help those countries. I can tell you now that as the chairman of the referees committee in South Africa, we are not in for VAR light. And the reason being is because if we introduce VAR light and the broadcaster has other angles, 7, 8, 9, 10, I mean, you were in camera, how many cameras can we get on the field?
They can get over 30 cameras.
Exactly. Yeah. We then look for a cross of the goal line, in or out, and the VAR officials don't have that image, they cannot call a goal. But now a broadcaster who's got 30 cameras has an excellent image, and it now broadcasts the image, and Mr. Robert Marawa posts a tweet on that image. People are going to say, we don't trust VAR. That is not, VAR light, it's for those limited cameras and will not work in South Africa.
Sure. But isn't that what caused a bit of the confusion? Isn't that what then led to Erulani and many other people, myself included, to say, Jelly was then speaking to who? Because it almost looked like the way it took so much time, the assistant referee who made the decision was right next to him. But he was in conversation. Could have been the fourth official. Again, the cameras did not give us the benefit of who he was communicating with. So in all likelihood, then the assumption, and people are able to assume if you don't give them the conclusive evidence to say this is who he's talking to, then they think he's talking to somebody somewhere who has the right to see on television and he's telling them what they're seeing.
You see, Rob, this is where I believe we're now starting to mislead the public.
Yeah.
Those systems are a shut network. They are entitled. Why can't a referee talk to a fourth official? So what we are saying on this argument is there's something on the one side of the pitch, something happened on the other side of the pitch. if that argument holds value, we are now saying, no, the referee can't talk to the fourth official because it's a communication thing. The right decision was made, and after consulting. And I'm actually very proud of the way things were handled on that day. He went and he stood next to the referee, the assistant referee, and they were talking. And you can clearly see that the fourth official was also involved. And it's teamwork. Even the assistant on the far side is entitled to talk. And this is where I feel that we are now misleading the general public. That the communication is for the four people to work together as a team. And, you know, at FIFA and higher levels, we've got the additional assistants who've also got. The laws of the game are clear. All the match officials that are on the field can contribute towards making the correct decision. So I think now we're coming with a bit of semantics now, and we're trying to use, scapegoats. Let's just be honest. And I think, and what I encourage our players to do, Rob, is really, when a referee is doing that, don't go and poke your nose there. Give the referee time. I mean, go to my World Cup game. Yeah. We were trying to decide if the ball was in or out, and I couldn't hear because the players were bickering. Yeah. And you're actually just making it worse for yourself by not allowing the referee to clearly understand and talk to his teammate and come to a decision. At least, if anything, give the referees the respect they deserve to at least think about the decision, talk about it, consult, and make the decision. Because the laws of the game are clear. Once you've restarted, you cannot change your decision.
Because, we saw that last night. There was a decision that was pending. Virgil van Dijk, it was going to go against him, but he was also, as a leader, as a captain, also man enough to say, you guys are frustrating the referee, back off. Whether you're an Everton player, whether you're a Liverpool player, just back off, because he won't be able to hear and will be very further away from hearing what the final decision is. Is he at that stage, if he feels that there's a lot of interference from those players who are in his ear making a noise, is he then allowed to whip out the yellow card and say, for whatever reason, I will give you this punishment?
Yeah, sure. I mean, ultimately, the referee has to control the match, and he uses the tools that he has, and yellow cards and red cards are one of them. But we talk about game management and how to handle players and stuff. But I would like to start seeing coaches say, my players are misbehaving.
Yeah.
Why are they questioning the referee like that? Give him time to make the decision. Because now it's all the other way. It's why was the referee talking? Okay, then if the referee can't talk, let's take his communication kit away. I mean, that's what it's there for.
Should it not work maybe hand in glove, like you rightfully said about the cameras, and you get one view on television and then VAR gets a completely different view? Is that whatever VAR has is what goes out to the public, so that if you are struggling and you don't have, let's say, a goal line angle or camera, so you can't tell if the ball went over the line or not if you don't have goal line technology, for example. And I think a clear example would have been the El Clasico over the weekend. So here's, big noise being made, but they have every right to say, guys, at meetings, let's call for goal line technology. Yeah, it might be expensive, but we need it. They needed it at the Clasico. Instead of asking for a replay, it was there. So what I'm basically saying is that with Law 6 and how the laws of the game have now been reviewed, etc., regarding the other match officials, the reserve assistant referee being permitted to assist the referee in one way or the other in terms of on field. Give me a bit of a breakdown in terms of the thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, the more heads, the better. The more angles, the better. I mean, in most competitions, even at CAF level and stuff, we have additional assistant referees, so that if the assistant gets injured, we don't have the fourth official running to do a line. We've already got someone who's a specialist on the line to do that. So it's all just being dynamic and being part of the game. It's like you don't see teams putting a defender in an attacker position, and very rarely you see a defender go as a goalkeeper because it's a must for whatever the circumstances are. So the refereeing is also well aligned with that. And I can tell you, the course we just did now, and even at AFCON, being the vice president of referees at AFCON, we got a coach to come in and talk to our referees, and before every game, look at the style of play, etc. So it's people make it seem that refereeing is, something out of this world. It's not. We are also trying to keep up with the game and what it requires. So we also maybe need to start looking at being professionalized refereeing, going to train every day, going to the same way a player does, the same way a team does.
When you talk about that was going to be my next question is, we want to jump to this VAR, but we still have So if you're not a professional referee, then you're an amateur referee.
Good evening, Mr. Rob. It's Hulfelang here, and good evening to the MSW shoulders, and good evening to Malume, Victor Gomes. Oh, man. I would just love to get right to the point. Yes, this might be an old hymn that has been on repeat for such a very long time, but I'm just going to ask it anyway. Number one, when will goal line technology be introduced in South African football? Because we cannot call ourselves, well, the PSL cannot call themselves the biggest league if they do not play their games without goal line technology. That for me doesn't make sense. Same thing with, VAR, but I would ask a two-part question. Number one, when will goal line technology be introduced? And number two, when will the referees be professionalized? Because again, from the same hymn book, we're singing the same song that professional games are being officiated by amateurs. Or maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe there's something that I might not understand. But I would just love to ask those two questions. When will the referees be professionalized? And number two, when will goal line technology be introduced in the South African football game? Great show as always. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much indeed. Briefly on both of those.
Yeah, that comes to finances. I think everybody, let's not beat around the bush. It all comes down to finances. And these are things that the stakeholders of football need to decide on. We, as a referees committee, we are ready to go forward. We are ready to make whatever adjustments that need. But again, I must reiterate that we're thinking that VAR will come, and I said it to you when I was here a few months ago. People are thinking that VAR comes and saves the world. No. We need to change our mindset and all these things that we've been discussing now. And with the professionalism, I think it could all help and make a parcel a better structure.
But I mean, can you have VAR with a structure that is not professionalized?
Yes, of course. Many countries do it. I don't see why it wouldn't work. At the end of the day, it gives you a second chance to see. I mean, let's go back to one of the decisions that I can use some innuendo. We see a last man, we see the player get brought down, we see a red card come out, and then we hear people saying, but how is that a red card? It's never a red card, where the decision is either two. It's one of two. It's either a no foul or it's a red card for dogs, which we call denying obvious goal-scoring opportunity. But we love to sensationalize the things. But had we had VAR in that instance, we can maybe call the referee over and say, look, have a look. Was it a fair challenge, or did he get the ball first? Did he get the man, etc.? And then we've sorted the issue out. But give the referee a second chance to make the decision, because I know that many times at home we rewind and replay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sure. So much to unpack. Don't go anywhere. You can go on the YouTube channel if you want to be part of the conversation. View, comment, and ask the questions.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Real clients, really awesome service. Here's Lejone.
I was parked at the garage. There's a guy that came driving. He hit my mirror, and then from there, my car was crashed because of that essential cover. After 2-3 days, Outsurance actually paid me out to choose my panel beta, of which was fantastic.
Isn't it time you got more from your insurer? SMS CAR to 32401 now. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Still shopping around for a saving here and a deal there? With over 1,500 deals every week, choose Checkers and save on Coca-Cola Sprite Stony Fanta Cold Drink, 300 mils, a 6-pack for $39.99. Clover Butro Spread, 500 grams, 2 for 149 Rand. And Oma Auto Liquid Detergent, 2 litres or capsules, 22 per pack. Any 2 for 199 Rand. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Soccer fans, it's time to score the ultimate goal with Hollywood Bets. Goal! With a max payout of up to 30 million Rand and over 100 soccer markets to bet on. Bet online now. T's and C's apply.
Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Here's to the next 30 years of connection with red hot deals from Vodacom. Save 45% when you buy home internet 100 megabits per second for only 599 Rand per month over 36 months with a Vodacom X25 5G router and 2 terabyte connectivity, all for the price of 30 megabits per second. That's a massive saving of 18,000 Rand. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Are you looking for a new fridge or how about a fancy new coffee machine? Well, get to Hershey's for our massive month-end sale. Save 1,500 Rand when you buy a Hisense 508-litre combi fridge for only 11,999, or get an incredible 20% off all DeLonghi coffee machines to help keep you warm this winter. These and other amazing deals available in-store, online at Hershey's.co.za. Hershey's, we will save you money.
It's time to carve yourself, because prepping Wena means protecting Yena.
To stay forever Wena, get tested whenever.
Forever ask for consent. Condomize.
My sex if you're not feeling it. Be forever prepped and forever status checked.
Because it's not one or the other.
It's forever Wena. Know your sexual health options and choose you. Visit foreverwena.co.za.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Tapela Morena is my guest. Mamelodi Sundown superstar is here.
He's a great player, but there's just one thing, Motapelo, that I like. Maybe I also need to learn. This guy plays with a smile. Bafana, we found one thing. We called Tapelo, he came in and again, he weaved his magic. Tapelo, is there anything ever that takes that smile away from you?
Yeah, he's laughing as it is.
Even in difficult, I just try to put a smile on my face and try and move on.
Hashtag MSW.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to Victor Gomes. I just want to say that the game is moving at a very high intensity, and the laws of the game are changing quite significantly. And I just want to find out from Victor Gomes, what is it that is being done from the SAFA's referees committee's side to also ensure that those who are coaching the game understand the laws of the game, because I would ordinarily see at the LFA level before the season starts, where they will invite the coaches of the clubs to be in one hall, and somebody who's got the expertise in refereeing will capacitate them and share the knowledge about the changes in the rules of the game. I'm not sure if something like that is happening with PSL coaches, because in some instances it seems like they are also being left behind in terms of understanding the rules of the game that they are coaching. Just want to hear your views around that.
Tebogo, thank you so much indeed. A fair question indeed. Not only just the commentators and the journalists, what about the coaches?
Yeah, this is excellent, and I'm glad you raised this point. SAFA have, I know even at LFA level, SAFA has instituted that even the coaches now start going to these coaching courses. And in these coaching courses, we have a referee section. Okay. So this is now where we are winning. And I mean, I can't remember if I mentioned earlier, but I mean, in this quarter, January, February, and March, we had 1,600 participants nationwide that went through these tests. And at national level, we went through 400 participants also. So we are working very heavily, and it's important. And I always said, if I had a bit more authority, I would make a player have some sort of laws of the game, because ultimately you're playing a game, you got to know the laws of the game. And I always said this, Rob, I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
I believe that it would even help the players if they knew the laws of the game better. There are certain things that they could do that would even help them. And I think that's where the first problem comes in, is the not understanding, and then the clash, and then the confrontation. And I think if we could get over this bridge, it would help a lot.
All right. Get ready for this, though, because you get this a lot, and you got it a lot even during your refereeing days. Andres Ngwana. It goes back to what you said you're not here to do. So he says, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Gomes. I'm sitting here and I'm watching the show on YouTube. I feel like Mr. Gomes is defending the referees. These guys are making mistakes each and every game. Big up to the show, etc. You said up front you're not here to defend the referees. He feels that you are. What's your take on that?
Andres, ufevanin. I think there's something he's got personal. No, it's very clear to me. Yeah. I'm not here to defend refereeing. We are here to improve, and we are loyal servants of the game. This is what we want to do. It's so funny. I will say this, and then tomorrow I'll read an article where it says, Gomes says referees make mistakes.
Yes.
Referees make error of judgments. We understand this. And this is what we are trying to improve. And this is what I'm talking about, the bigger parcel. It's not about a referee who goes the whole game and makes one wrong decision that affects the outcome of the game. We are trying to improve it holistically. And all of these little components that I've been talking about fix the puzzle.
Njabulo, good evening in the East Rand. Very strong. Vic is here.
Yeah, I have a question to the referee. I just want to know how involved is he in the lower divisions like your ABC Municipal League and your LFA? Because Big Rob, there's a lot going on there, and I suspect that sometimes there's match fixing from set team that influence the referees to make the games being won by them. You get my question, sir?
Yeah, I'm with you. Great question, Jabula. Thank you so much indeed. We see clips on social media. There are referees that are being chased by fans, by football officials, by players. They run for their lives. They get beaten to a pulp. I've never heard or seen or read that action was taken against the perpetrators of that violence, and we should not be seeing it. What is your take about the lower divisions and what we see?
This is a spot-on question. Your listeners are on form today, Rob. We've seen even the president of FIFA condemn these type of actions. We've seen the scourge around the world. We've seen many. I saw Portugal just come out with a campaign, and quite an excellent one. And these are campaigns that are running right around the world. This is a worldwide problem, and even in the recruitment of trying to bring new referees. But what I can tell you is that I don't work alone. I have a team, and I'm very grateful for the team that we have, from our instructors to the other committee members, etc. And we are working heavily. I was so privileged, and sometimes you have to say it. I was so proud to sit in a meeting the other day where I've been meeting all the provinces, and I was told, and as I tell you, it makes me very emotional. I was told that it's the first time that a province has ever met the NRC chairman. And I was really proud of that, and I'm proud of the team. We are doing a lot of work. There are some structures. There's some stakeholders that we need to comply with, but we are trying to get down right to the bottom. We earlier in the year, or towards the end of last year, we engaged where we were recruiting referees around the country. So we are working. I mean, personally, myself, sometimes when I drive past, I've stopped many times and seen young referees ref. I've often had some kits given away I carry in my car, and when I see them reffing, and so it's difficult to get to everyone. And that is our wish, to try and get to everyone. Make sure that every referee is on the panel, or every referee that's refereeing at least gets to some sort of information every year regularly.
Sure. I think that's a big statement, very, very big statement. Shadi Ikarim, who's watching on the YouTube channel, and I think it goes hand in hand with what I was going to ask you about Law 10. Shadi says, can you get a clip of the disallowed penalty due to offside of Barcelona versus Chelsea? It says, Women's Champions League last Saturday. I'd like to hear a referee explain that to me, what is the interference, or what is interference. So I'm trying to match that with what we're seeing with Law 10 and the changes that have been made regarding determining the outcome of the match. I mean, like a term, kicks from a penalty mark, to be replaced by penalties and so on. Give us a bit more education on that.
Yeah, again, also just trying to align with trying to get everybody to understand. Everybody talks a penalty. When you start talking kicks from the penalty mark. So it's just trying to align it and try and make it more accessible to everybody, make the understanding more accessible to everybody. You will see that in the law changes, if you open the laws of the game, you'll see there's a line with a highlight of yellow where they show the old wording to the new wording, and we are trying to make everything simpler. And by making it simpler, it allows for everybody to understand, and then we start to get more, not so many differences. Everybody starts to be more on the same page, literally.
So the clarification that warnings and cautions for team officials as well as for players are not carried forward into penalties or the penalty shootout. So I think that really underlies what you're saying. Offside is always, I don't know. We've been seeing toenails, we've been seeing elbows, we've been seeing fingernails. When they draw the line and margins, you go back to the Coventry City Man United game of the weekend, for example. It's margins, and they still feel gutted with the final outcome.
Rob, it's all about which side of the fence do you sit on.
When you sit on an onside fence.
Because when it suits you, you want that centimeter. When it doesn't suit you, you don't want that centimeter.
But is that what it's come down to? Just centimeters? Aren't you looking for proactivity, looking to have games with goals and, heroes, David versus Goliath type of thing? Like literally, that's all it was centimeters.
But let's be honest, that's why the laws of the game are going that way. I mean, we're talking about the back pass. Where was that back pass delivered? Where previously he touched it, it's a back pass. Now, did he really touch it or did he play it? We talk about touch, play, deliberate play, etc. And I think that's where we are. The laws of the game are being aligned to that. And I think the more football wants, the more the laws of the game are giving. That's where we're moving towards.
All right, we got Nkosi on the line calling us from Durban, wanting to ask Vic a question about VAR in South Africa. Nkosi, good evening.
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Vic is here. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Vic.
Sawubona malum.
Shapunjan.
Hi, Gran. Skospezul.
Sharp, man. My question, Victor, when are we having VAR in South Africa? Because I think most of the problems can be eliminated if we are having that VAR. My second question, in the meantime, can we have another referee that will be behind the post like what happened in UEFA before VAR? We remember there was a referee who was just checking what is happening in the box, on the goal line. I think that helped in the UEFA. I think it can also benefit South Africa while we are waiting for VAR.
All right.
What's your take on that?
Nkosi, thank you so much indeed. I think the VAR one you've addressed at length, it was done away with in Europe, those additional officials.
Yes.
They might have been effective, but for whatever reason, they were taken away. Is there ever going to be a sense of maybe going back to something like that?
I can't really recall the reasons, but just with the experience I have, it's so fast. You need again the replay. Did it touch his hand? Did he make a gesture? Did he make his arm unnaturally bigger? And I think that was maybe also, again, relying on the human eye. And I think because it didn't give the desired effect that it wanted, and then we have inconsistency where he gets a decision here because of an opinion of one assistant referee, and on the other side it's not consistent. So there are many trials that happen, and these trials happen and they come and they go to better the game. And I think that was possibly one of them.
Referees, post-match interviews. Is that ever going to be a possibility? You hear from the coach, you hear from the man of the match, but the most important person who decides at times, I know you'll disagree with me, but would we ever get to a situation where there is a post-match interview for a referee?
Rob, again, it's if that's what football wants, sure, why not give it? But now, again, I want to give my opinion. When you're hot and you've just come off a tough match, the last thing you want to do is be questioned to start giving reasons. We see it with players. We see it with coaches. Some of them are so emotional after a game that, with all due respect, Rob, in my time of refereeing, and I hate it when people say this, but I have to say this. We didn't see coaches focusing. They focused more, should I say, on players. The mistakes still existed. The errors of judgment still existed. I think they sensationalize it. People in general sensationalize it. Because we see a coach who comes off a losing game, how emotional he is. So what are we asking of a referee? This is my opinion, Rob.
You get a red card, 90 minutes. Yep. Game goes into penalty shootouts. I believe there's been a tweak as far as that law is concerned. So if you got a red card in the 90 minutes, penalty shootout, are you able to come back and take a penalty?
We talk about leveling the level, the
playing field.
The players must be level.
Yeah.
So once you've got a red card, you must go.
But so you can't come back for a penalty?
No. You have to be, and what I think is the confusion is that the number of players must be adjusted to be equal. So this is where the confusion is. A red card is a red card. Once you go out, you go. So there's no second chance.
So early shower, you're done.
Yeah. You still get hot water in the early shower. And you might, depending on competition rules, you'll have to go for some, I think it's some urine samples, etc., because now they need to understand why you got a red card.
Drug testing, it's called. Hey, it's drug testing. Don't always say that we have hot water in showers. There's load shedding in South Africa. We haven't had it for almost, 4 weeks now. I'll end it on a very light note. I've just picked up a message here on YouTube. Shadi Ikaram says, Mr. Victor Gomes became my first ever referee crush. He'd often be the most handsome one on the pitch. Respond, sir, please. They're dying to hear from you.
My wife's currently messaging me now, Rob. She's saying that she's missing me.
So that's how you dismiss that particular one. Victor Gomes, lots of changes, man. I appreciate your time. I wanted to ask about Jared Gillett, appointed as VAR in that Arsenal-Spurs game. But we also know that whatever happens internationally is likely to happen here, where referees are known to be fans of certain clubs and they get appointed in terms of VAR or whatever. So there's been a lot of conversations about that, but I'm sure we'll pick that up in our next conversation. This is the man that's been to the World Cup Qatar 2022, AFCON 2015, 2019, 21-2, Tokyo Olympic Games 2020, 21, Under 17 World Cup Brazil 2019, and so much more. Referee of the season gazillion times. He's here a few times if we can afford to have him here. Victor Gomes, I thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Say hi to the madam.
God bless you. Thank you.
Amen.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.